Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome back to season 9, and welcome to an exciting episode of the Just Seen podcast. Feels good to be back. Happy New Year, happy holiday, happy all of that good shit that everybody's feeling with, everybody's feeling on. Um, this break it did me wonders. Um, just being able to be away, have no thoughts, just in locking things down to really personally make 2023 a personal year that's just I owe myself. um this is going to be my 33rd year of life, and I got 4 months left at the time of this recording. I got 4 months left before that 33rd year, and I'm putting the final touches on everything so I could turn my birthday into a lifestyle starting with 33 on. Things would be different, but yeah, welcome back, motherfuckers. Yo, where y'all been at? Well, I know where y'all been at. Y'all ain't been here because I've been out and about, but a lot has transpired. I just feel good, and getting back into season 9, man. It's been a while. It's been a while. So y'all know the flow. I got to get back into the rhythm before I can drop in, but we back. And as you've seen from the title, today we're going to be talking about temptation, a little bit of the devil too, but temptation as well. And not in the devil the sense of, you know what I mean? Like, y'all know what I'm about. But anyway, we're going to be talking about a pseudo illusion to what temptation is like. And here's the thing that got me, because I was just doing I always do some personal reflection and shit, but I reached a point of understanding of something that I had been, dealing with for like all of my life. For the most part, like I was never able to understand how nothing ever tempted me. Well, it did tempt me, but it was always me. It was never no shit like, I would hear people say, yo, the devil was busy here, the devil did this, blah, 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 or, God tested me, all of these different things. This is no shot to anybody who feels that way, who are in those spaces and who feel this type of way. But these are things that just came to me. And I've always dealt with that as a kid. You feel me? I always dealt with that as an adolescent, teenager, up until adulthood. And it wasn't until recently that it clicked like heavily that, you feel me? Everybody, for one, doesn't process life the same way. And then for two, accountability and responsibility are things that everybody don't necessarily take heart. Religion, sadly, it removes accountability and responsibility for a lot of people, specifically for the negative things in their lives. So I had kind of got into a little, word exchange, verbal war with somebody, because they were saying like talking about some young kids or whatever, and they were like, yo, that ain't nothing but the devil over them, that's why they do what they do. And I'm looking like, that ain't the devil, that's their choice. They're making the conscious choice to do it. Nothing is tempting them, and nothing is, you know what I mean? Like, that was my thing. They're like, nah, see, these streets is dangerous, is this, that, and the third. I get it, all of these things, but everything in life is a choice. Everything in life is a choice, and everything is a choice predicated by temptation, right? And I know it seems like contradictory. You just said it ain't temptation, but it is. But I'm flowing in the conversation. So I'm like, everything is predicated by temptation or whatever. And they're like, no, it's not. Like, I'm not tempted. I say, everybody's tempted by everything. Like, but somehow we only tie temptation to negative things, which is even worse when we really think about it, because most of the things we're tempted by are things we want to do anyway. But if we're only tempted by negative shit, that means that's the shit that we want to do. What does that say about our minds? So when I ask people shit like, that it segues into another conversation, motherfucker was like, the devil was busy. And I tell a motherfucker quick, well, who hired him? Because it's literally an answer to that question, right? Either you, the person, hired the devil who was busy in your life, or the deity you serve put the devil in your life to try you and test you and to make you get closer to it. And people, they say I reach, but it's in the text, it's in the words. It's like these deities will put you through the ringer to bring you close to them. I'm not going to say what kind of relationship you have with that person or that being or that entity, if that's the type of relationship you have. But by all means, it is what it is. We're going to stick to temptation. And it's got me because I was, talking to somebody, like I said, they were talking to the kids, and they told me, talk to the young kids. They need somebody with a positive influence to guide them or talk them. No, you don't. I didn't, because my thing was, I didn't have none of that shit growing up. but how did I make the decision to succumb to overcome certain shit? And I think back a lot. I'm like, yo, what was it that protected me? Was it this? Was this? And the answer was I avoided temptation because I understood what temptation was. Right. So temptation didn't get me. And it tied into I was talking to an older person who was saying, yo, you're wise beyond your years. And I was thinking, like, when you break down, if you read Sophro 3, you know how I look at wisdom. But I was like, if I'm wise beyond my years, and wisdom is basically your experience, that means I've experienced more in my life somehow. I have experienced more than people outside of me. And in that experience, I have reached a level of understanding to allow me to explain certain scenarios better than other people. So it's like, how? Other than the fact that I was tempted by a lot of things, and things don't tempt me no more because of what temptation really is. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at underscore just underscore seen underscore. Be sure to check out my website at iamjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of your podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. And as always, Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes, that's that for this and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into season 9, episode 1, Temptation. Is the devil really busy? And don't forget to visit iamjustseen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit iamjustseen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit iamjustseen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit iamjustseen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit iamjustseen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at iamjustseen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit iamjustseen.com. All right. Welcome back. And without further ado, let me go ahead and finish with my thought and finish on the flow that I was on. So first off, let me go ahead and make sure we're all on the same page with temptation, because everybody looks at temptation differently. But when I ask people what temptation is, they basically just say temptation. They like, temptation is when something is, distracting you or trying to take you out. Like, no, what's the definition of temptation? You feel me? And not the textbook definition. I know I go back and forth between textbook definitions, but what I've come to realize about temptation is that temptation is simply a reality when curiosity meets desire, right? When your curiosity for something merges with your desire to have the experience. No, let me say that. I said it wrong because I had it so fluidly before. Okay. Temptation is when curiosity meets your lack. Wait, what is it? Is curiosity meets the lack of desire. No, wait, curiosity meets the lack of the experience that you desire. That's what it is. So temptation is when curiosity meets the desire for an experience that you don't have, right? When people ask like, yo, why can you come, like, and it came into reality because, again, another conversation that's tied to this in a way was like, why do men cheat? Why do people cheat? My thing was this. I'm like this. People always cheat because they're losing. I'm not just talking about relationships. I'm talking about life. You as a person, if you ever cheated, whether you cheated on a test, whether you cheated on a test because you weren't prepared. You knew you were going to lose. Okay. Then they say, oh, cheating is wrong. You cheat, you can get expelled. You can get kicked out of school and shit. But you're willing to risk that because you're willing to risk that because you know what the experience will be of failing. You'd rather have the experience of expulsion than have the experience of failing. So you'll cheat. That's crazy to think about it like that from just a test perspective. But when we look at relationships, when we look at like, I'm losing right now, and it's worth more to gain the experience of cheating than to gain the experience and to maintain the experience of not cheating and not going forward, right? And stay in the same space. So temptation As I'm saying, and I'm gonna fuck it up from the first time I said it. Temptation is when curiosity meets the desire for experience that you do not have. You feel what I'm saying? Because there's nothing in your database to satisfy the desire. We only we see people think desires and wants are the same thing. They're really not. Desire is when you long for something you've never experienced before. When you want something you've experienced before, that's why you want it. You feel me? But desire transcends want, but desire transcends want in a reality in that we desire what we've never experienced. You feel what I'm saying? I gotta go back to the old days. You feel me? Like I fucked a lot of married women. I fucked a lot of women who had girlfriends. I mean, who boyfriends. I fucked women who had girlfriends too. Like that situation was weird. Yo, shorty really wanted to scrap with me. Yo, like motherfucker, it was crazy because this was back on MySpace days. So motherfucker hit me with a message on MySpace and shit. You know, having a regular conversation because I had a music page and shit. Talking about. Then it got to a point where it just like the conversation was like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm chopping nuts." Yeah, stay away from my girl. Oh, what nigga? What? Who's your girl? It's like, you sure that's your girl if I'm fucking her? Y'all supposed to be gay? Whatever. Good times. Good times. But anywho, there was a common thing between the women that I was able to cheat with. And not like when I was single, they were the ones in relationship cheating. But the commonality is like they always said the same thing to me. There's just something about you. I'm like, what? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Like the girlfriend that I ended up getting with that, cheated on me, like our first conversation, like when we exchanged numbers, our first like real conversation, texting and talking, she was like, I don't know if I just want to fuck you or if I want to be in a relationship with you. My dumb ass. Well, no, let me take that back. I'm not gonna say my dumb ass. Well, at the time, my dumb ass said, you know what? I'm gonna show her that she don't need to just be her mind don't need to be on that type time. She need to be looking for like no, she was what she was, nigga, and she told you that's what she was. But I didn't want to believe that that's what she was. I wanted to believe that women could change. I guess I had the same mentality that the women have sometimes when they go into a relationship. I could change them, or I can show her that there's good men out here. Whatever. And that ties into this conversation because people see what they're gonna see. So and she helped and she's heard my story with her is gonna help put information, put pieces in with this temptation and shit. Because like when she cheated or whatever, it was like damn, like I'm giving you everything that they say a good man is supposed to give, or whatever the case may be, right? And this helped me like temptation is so powerful, but it's so weak. It's powerful because I say it's powerful because people succumb to it so easily. And we ask somebody to give you what temptation is, they don't have a concrete definition. They don't have something stabilized to focus on. Therefore, if you don't have anything defined, you have no foundation to stand on when you're speaking about it. Or there's no foundation in your understanding of it. So when people can't even define temptation correctly, I know temptation whooping their ass. You feel what I'm saying? So in the context of this person, when we were together and shit, she was saying shit like after, when she cheated or whatever, the conversation that she had, because I'm very observant. I listen, she would be like, I just wanted hood love. I wanted this, that, and the third. And it was like, oh, and they put into perspective when she got with me. Like, you feel me? I was the hood. I was one of the hoodest motherfuckers you can meet, but college refined me. I started to realize I couldn't do hood shit here. So the hood shit started to go away. And she ultimately cheated on me with a hood nigga and shit. And then I seen situations that she had father issues, familial structures and shit. I said, oh, I see why you want hood love. You think it's what it ain't, but it is what it is. Again, temptation. When your curiosity merges with your desire for an experience you don't have. You feel what I'm saying? She had never been to the hood a day in her life. So much so she got a shot at. Well, it wasn't really shot at. Dude shot in the air because of us as an attempt to scare us. Because you feel me? We walk in to get some food. You know what I'm saying? Because we was on college campus just right across the street. So we walk in to get some food and shit. Dude, like, yo, let me get $2. This motherfucker gonna say, yo, just give him $2. You got it. No, that's not. No. So as soon as I'm like, nah, you don't have you got $2. Why you feel like he just want to. He don't want $2. He wants all of the money we have in our pockets. Keep walking. Nah, so she wilding. Foul, foul, foul. He started shooting off in there. Was that at us? Yes, stupid motherfucker. He was gonna rob us if we went over there. You feel me? But this is the light. But like I said, when she want hood, I'm like, you're not even hood intelligent. Why do you want the love of a place that you can't even mentally function in because you've never been there? But it's temptation. You feel me? So connecting that to what I was saying with the women who I was involved with, who like there was always, that common thing. There's something about you. I just want to fuck you. There's something about you. It's like, nah. I'm learning now that I have reached the mental, the spiritual components of life that I have reached. I learned certain things were true, but just misdirected. So that's something about me. Yeah, the women like, I just want to fuck you now. You want to share in my creative energy. I didn't realize that before. Like when I say I got a lot of bodies, this is why I got a lot of bodies because I was fucking, I ain't gonna say anything, but I was fucking almost everything that was coming my way in the beginning. Then it changed the quality because once your balls start hanging low, you start flexing and shit. You like, nigga, I'm that nigga, bro. I don't give a fuck what you say. I get all the hoes. You start getting all the hoes, but you just getting hoes. You feel me? But anyway, so that was like my creative energy was strong. And because had never explored my creative energy to where it's like, you don't like me, you like my creativity and the way it exudes. Because your sexual energy and your creative energy go hand in hand. When they like a motherfucker got sex appeal, it's the way you put yourself together, the way you carry yourself, the way you creatively synthesize and construct your world for yourself to be presented. You feel me? So when they would be like, yo, it's just something about you that is my creative energy. That's what you really want to experience, but you don't know that that's what's tempting you because on the inside, to the core of it, you're seeing a person being their absolute self. And that's what you desire for. Now, this goes into jealousy. How I say jealousy is love and hate at the same time. You're going to get either people that are going to hate on you or people that are going to be classified as dick riders or pole jockers because they're channeling jealousy a different way. There's people who channel jealousy for the wrong energy, and there are people who challenge jealousy for the positive energy. Because if it's love and hate at the same time, you're going to get the people that are going to hate you. That's what we call jealousy. But jealousy has a positive proponent to it too, which is when people that they have that love for you, right? They love and hate at the same time, but they choose not to hate on it. You feel me? Like if a motherfucker, it's like this. When a motherfucker is jealous of you in this context, when a motherfucker hates and loves that you do something, but they love it, they're gonna support you. They're gonna talk, they're gonna hype you up, they're gonna tell everybody, oh, this motherfucker can do this. But on the other side of that, the person's gonna be, they're gonna down talk you while still both people are gonna watch every move you make to try to emulate it. Still jealousy. Still jealousy. One just operates positively, one operates negatively. Because remember, you always gotta have the dualities, right? So as these women are telling me, it's just something about me. I'm now knowing in my older ages what it really was. But at the time, because when I got the height of the pussy that I got, I was rapping. I was, and creative energy, I was writing, what I'm saying? I was always dressing up. Like I always had like matching shoes. Like everything was on point. I would always have an outfit on point. You feel what I'm saying? And those are things that I had to realize were the vanity. I mean, this is why you hear me say I don't like vanity anymore because of what it did to me and how it consumed me. Now I have to restructure my life according to being vainless. You feel me? But as I'm gonna get to the point, y'all. It's just been a long time, and I got a lot to talk about with y'all. So as I'm dealing with these women, and they're like, "Yo, the temptation is there. It's the curiosity." Because I would ask them, "What is it?" I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't, that I was any more handsome than the men that they were fucking with. Wasn't any that I was. It's just something. It was just something about me. I fucked a lot of women off of that, just because it was something about me and they couldn't tell me what it was. So I exploited it, and I exploited it in an ignorant way, not in an intentional way, in an ignorant way, because I didn't know that I was exploiting it. Because I was like, hey, well, it's gonna get me some pussy. I didn't even know what was happening, what they were being tempted by. But then I didn't understand temptation myself. So my thing was, I'm not coming at you with malicious intent, so I'm not tempting you. You feel me? Because that's what we get tied into. We get tied to believing that temptation has malicious intent. Why? Because we tie temptation to the devil. Anybody who says they've been tempted is like, yeah, that was the devil. Like when I told people, like 200th episode, I broke down that whole story, that whole situation. And the people that I'm talking to, they're like, yo, the devil tempted you to death. The devil didn't do shit. I'm sorry to tell y'all, like, I would hate for y'all to look in like, and that was the reason why I came out and I told and I did, I told on myself, I went through the process and everything. Fucked me up mentally, psychologically, spiritually, but it fixed me when I got my shit straight, but it fucked me up initially. But at the same time, it was like, nobody did this but me. I made this choice. And I had to realize that with temptation, the moment you allow yourself to succumb to temptation, you eliminate your ability to be accountable for yourself. Fuck responsibility, because if you're not accountable, you damn sure not gonna be responsible. and vice versa. But you're going to take away your ability to be accountable for yourself when you succumb to temptation and you allow yourself to say that you've succumbed to temptation. You feel me? So it's like when I looked at the situations and it's like, yo, bro, like, like when people tell me shit like, yo, it just happened. Like when I was young, I was 15 years old the first time I cheated. And in that moment, I've heard a lot of people say shit like, yo, it just happened. I don't know. I couldn't, it just happened. It doesn't just happen. It doesn't. The effect of what temptation triggers, the cause that temptation triggers, the effect is not an accident. It doesn't just happen. It is a series of events that you're oblivious to. No, you're not even oblivious to it. You don't give a fuck about because you're weighing the options. Is my curiosity to experience what I'm desiring going to supersede the reality of what it could, it couldn't be? You feel me? A lot of men, they say, why do men cheat? Why? Because there's two reasons why men cheat. Right. Of course, I just mentioned the part about, cheating and you're losing. So that's no. But it's a little bit deeper than that for men. But it's crazy how it's a little bit deeper, but it's more shallow. You feel me? It's more deeper, but it's more shallow. And it's deep and it's shallow at the same time because we have two components to ourselves. When respect is to men, what love is to women. I'm sorry that I'm stuttering. It's so many, like the way I gotta connect this is crazy because it's like 8 different pieces to the story right now in my head. So respect is to men, what love is to women, right? We're told that our respect comes from money and power and women. That's it. We work and we do the shit that we do for women. That's it. That's it. That's it. We do it for women and pussy. That's it. So for us, it's always we have always been programmed. We have been wired. Get the most pussy. The man with I've literally heard women say shit like this to me. They say, "Well, a man like I've been celibate for 7 years now, going on 7 or 8, something like that." But I get when I wasn't celibate, but when I was sexually active, dealing with women were more attracted to me. Because I've heard women say, "Don't no woman want a man that don't know what woman want," but a woman is gonna be afraid of a man that every woman wants. So there's a sword. Men is like, yo, I can't be the nice guy who's like, but I gotta have my experiences or whatever the case may be. Blah blah blah. So we have respect, right? And we're tying our respect to women because respect for us is not defaulted. As I mentioned in So Frail 2, So Frail 3, and I have an episode on that. Respect is not defaulted to us. We must earn it. So now our respect has to be earned by our title and our status. Our titles and our statuses. We don't have titles until we can graduate college, until we can get a good job, whatever the case may be. So up until that point, we can only rely on status to get our respect. So for a one, I mentioned having hands or having hoes. Most motherfuckers were either going to be physical or they're going to be mental, right? And they're going to be physical in the sense of, oh, they're going to play sports. They're going to be the gangsters, the fighters, and the violent people. That's how they're going to find their peace in getting women. Then you have the other side is going to be mental, where they're going to be the ladies' man. They're going to be the motherfucker who doesn't do some of the extra physicality shit, but they know how to talk the draws off and shit, right? There's those two components. Spiritual, we're not even worried about that. We're too young for that. But as we're developing that, we begin to realize that I'm getting respected for having hoes. I'm getting respected for the amount of women that I have. I'm getting respected for this. These two things go hand in hand. So temptation is easy because now I'm now curious about having sex with women that I've never had sex with before, which is all of them. You're no longer, this is why women be like, how come once men get it, they no longer put the good morning? This is why I always tell y'all motherfuckers, if my sisterinos are in here, huddle up. This is why I always tell y'all have to break the mentality of wanting men to be alpha males or act like we in the fucking jungle and be lions and shit and be predators because you're prey. I've been trying to tell y'all the game. I've been trying to put y'all onto it because it's like, this ain't, y'all want this, but y'all don't want this. Y'all hate patriarchy, but you need patriarchy to approach you. It's weird. It's weird as fuck because now you're in that insane loop that we in too, because now it's tied to us being tempted. They're like, yo, this man was tempting you. Like every man that I know that has cheated, especially the religious ones. They are hilarious. But the religion was like, I don't know what came over me, man. The devil, no, you wanted to fuck this woman. You were curious about fucking this woman, and you didn't weigh the options of the experience. You desire the experience that you never had with this woman. After you get it, it's like, eh. It is what it is. And this is one of the reasons why they say why when men cheat is different from when women cheat. Men cheat because we're programmed to always have the next woman. Women cheat when they're deprived emotionally. That's different. They really like this nigga. I'm laughing because if you watch the 85 South show, they got a song. They created a song like freestyling this shit. It's called She Like That Nigga, right? He talking about, man, when women cheat, they actually like the dude. And it was dude didn't have a car. She had to go pick him up and shit. But they was like, man, he ain't even got a car. She gotta go pick this nigga up to cheat. And then DC on Fly in the bathroom, she like that nigga. And it's like when a woman really like you, the cheating is different. Men don't really like the women that we're involving ourselves with. And this is why I tell women, I tell people as a whole, and I'm trying to get our mindset back into this. Like, yo, we don't really like women. There's literally two types of homosexuals that we're dealing with right now. We have to come to the point where we have to realize that before we can accept heterosexuality, we have to accept that we've been programmed homosexually, right? Whether we would fuck a man or not, we're programmed homosexually. So you have the homosexual man who likes vagina and the homosexual man who doesn't. You feel me? And then you have the heterosexual man. It's a different conversation. This one's gonna fuck a lot of people up right now. A lot of these social media people that you're seeing arguing, and the people that got the platform saying women, they're the homosexual men who like vagina. I know I did a moment of silence for that, but I'm saying it for a reason. They're not heterosexual men. Heterosexual men don't put into the we're not in opposition with women. We're not. So that conversation doesn't include. But when you have the homosexual man who does not like vagina, that's where you get the catty argumentative motherfucker, and you get like it's a different conversation. And a lot of people think that because a man likes vagina that he's not gay. No. He would spend more time with his niggas, spend more quality time with his homies and shit, and he's using the woman for the vagina, circling it back into the temptation, circling it back into the respect that we get. The more women that we had, the more respect that we get. But like I said, we've been programmed homosexually for a long time. There's no co-ed sports. There's no like now they're trying to get things like that where they're trying to intermingle, but we're supposed to like dudes literally take like after sports games, you take showers with other men. Like that's not like that's homosexual behavior. Cause it's like technically male sports. I've mentioned this in Sofa 1 and Sofa 2. Like technically male sports is a homosexual thing. Like you feel what I'm saying? Because it is the same sex playing all this, right? So when we're looking at that scheme of the types of men that we're programmed to be first, homosexual men who like vagina, homosexual men who just like vagina are very evil, vindictive people when they don't get the vagina. No funny shit. A homosexual man who likes vagina and a homosexual man who doesn't like vagina talk to women the same way. The homosexual man who doesn't like vagina gets the pass though, because he acts typically like a woman, but they literally talk to women the same way, call them bitches to their face the same fucking way. You feel me? Will spaz out on it, you know what I'm saying? Cuss out like, but the homosexual man gets the pass. The homosexual man who does not like vagina gets the pass because he does not like vagina. And that's what makes him gay. But the one who likes vagina and shit is, oh, he's misogynistic, he's patriarchal, he's toxic masculine. No, he's a homosexual man who likes vagina. And we're not talking about that. We're not having that conversation. This is why now it ties into succumbing to the temptation so easy, because it's not even the woman themselves that is appealing to us. It's the conquest. Tying it back into where I was talking about predators and shit, like how women, oh, men are hunters, they're gonna pursue. Yeah, you're gonna be prey to. We eat the feast and keep going to the next one. When a cheetah or a lion hunts its food and it catches it and it eats it, you think it puts its fucking prey in its pocket and carries it around? Fuck no. It leaves the carcass there for whatever else is gonna eat next. I'm full. So temptation ties in because, like I said, it's when curiosity meets the desire for an experience you don't have. And now it's presenting itself to you. Do you take it or do you leave it alone? And that's where a lot of people don't understand opportunities. People think people I know this seems all over the place, but it's gonna connect, trust me. People misunderstand opportunities with temptations. They be like, yo, the opportunity presented itself, so I took it. No, you were tempted and you didn't have the experience and you hopped on it to gain the experience and your life didn't go to. Opportunities don't come by happenstance. When shit comes into your life on accident, that is a temptation. When you create the shit that comes into your life, that is an opportunity. A lot of people don't know the difference between temptations and opportunities. I can admit that I had to come to terms with reality that I didn't know the difference between those two. There was a lot of times I was tempted and be like, that was a good opportunity. It wasn't a good opportunity. It was a temptation. And I had to learn that being an alchemist, developing my alchemy, becoming an entrepreneur, different things like that. I had to realize that I create opportunities. So what the fuck just popped up was never an opportunity. It was a temptation. You know how many relationships are built off temptation and not opportunity? You know how many children, I'm not even gonna say children yet. You know how many marriages have been 50, 60 years or whatever, have gained longevity because of temptation and not opportunity? You know how many children are born out of temptation and not opportunity? And now when we look at temptation, we're not just talking about lust. Temptation is the curiosity for the desire that you do not have, the desire for the experience that you do not have. That's temptation. Now, how many people have developed 5, 6 year relate now they can't leave the relationship anymore because the experience, the desire for the experience is gone. There's no curiosity. I'm not tempted by you. You hear it all the time with women talking about men. You used to take me out on the time. You used to do this because I was curious about I know you now. I've experienced you now. I ain't gonna say you. I've experienced what you wanted to show me. You haven't shown me anything else to experience. I'm bored. Temptation is done. I'm no longer curious. You didn't approach me in a relationship. We didn't approach relationships as an opportunity. I look at different. I get tempted a lot. I don't get tempted a lot anymore. And y'all heard me mention it before. It's like how dudes, I know homies and shit. Low key, I was jealous the first time. It's they were like, yo man, did you be sending me titties and shit? And I ain't gonna say bitches because I gotta say it right. Because they be like, it be a lot of the woke motherfuckers. They be like, yeah man, I be like, God, it's not like they'll send me some titties and put like. I get shit about quotes. I get shit about what are your thoughts on this, and I realize because these women aren't trying to tempt me. They're trying to gain an opportunity. They're trying to create an opportunity. Two totally different worlds of creation, two totally different worlds of approach. And a lot of men, because a lot of us as men, we are programmed. For one, like I said, we're programmed homosexually too, but we like vagina. We have to break through that to become like, you know, when you program homosexually, but you still like vagina, when you got to say pause all the time. Every thought, like no straight thought can stay in your, like any thought that comes to your head somehow could be so extreme that you'll say pause behind it. You have to say pause. That's because you're wired into a programming that causes you to be homosexual who likes vagina. And it's okay. You just got, if you don't want to be that, you just got to overcome that, stay that, and understand and address what it is. Like I said, it's the toxic feminine side. You feel what I'm saying? So when I was like, so when I consider the opportunity and the temptation, when I look at the relationships that I've been in, right? Every bad relationship, and this is going to tie into the functions and how we work and shit. Every bad relationship began as a temptation. Both of us were curious about the desire for an experience we didn't have. And it started off lustful. Every relationship that I had that was bad and horrible, like where some shit went wrong, it was temptation because we were just curious about each other. Curious for the design, sex appeal and everything. Then you just want to fuck. Then you get it. And you feel me? I knew a woman and shit. And this is when it started like, we was like our first time fucking. I went too deep. And this is a different situation, but I went too deep and they say I fucked a period on, but I don't know what happened. But I know once I stroked twice, I felt like a little pop and I thought it was the condom. I pulled out, the condom was still intact, but I don't know what it was. I don't know if I hit a polyp or something. I don't know what I hit in her, but she started bleeding. It wasn't bad, but it stunk real bad. It won't like nah, this won't period. Like something's not right. So I kicked her out and shit. Didn't talk to her for a while. And then it was just like, she's like, damn, what? And now I look back, I think about the women that be like, yo, you just cut me off after we fuck. After my heartbreak, I was in a whole different space. I was telling women, but I couldn't articulate it the way I can now. I was telling women, I was basically telling them like, yo, this is temptation. You're looking for an opportunity. I'm not gonna give you the opportunity. I'm gonna fuck with the temptation. And I capitalized on the temptation. I knew some of the women that I was fucking with, they were the type of women who only wanted who dealt with men that they had to fix and shit. Easy to get pussy from them because I know how to tempt you. I'm already a broken man. You feel what I'm saying? But it was like that run was mean. It was ugly. But like I said, my bad relationships were based off of temptation. The good ones were established. The good ones were established by an opportunity. It was an opportunity that presented itself between the two of us, and we were able to build something with that. And that's the part that gets people. And when I tell people, like, when I talk about the relationship, how the woman lied to me and how she was, told me, oh, yeah, I want to start this business. I want to start this business. I realized I approached her temptation with my opportunity. And the fact that I fed into the opportunity, not realizing I was getting temptation. It's hard to see. But the thing is like people, when you spend enough time with humans, spend enough time with people, you start to realize that people don't necessarily lie. They say what's necessary to make the temptation work. You feel me? She was telling me what I wanted to hear, right? Because I wanted to hear it. Now that ties into temptation because I'm curious with what a good relationship is going to be like. Everybody in this world, especially in today's time, they want a good relationship. That's all they want. They want a good relationship. This is why the three things entrepreneurs can work on is health, wealth, and relationship. You'll make money all day long if you can tackle one of those three things. Trust me. Because people always want to fix their health because their health is fucked up. They always want to fix their wealth because the wealth is fucked up. And they always want to fix their relationship. You know why? Because we don't know any skills on how to do any of this better. That's why you can capitalize on it. You can make money off of people. Capitalism works because people are ignorant and lazy. Ignorant to the three things that capitalism thrives on: health, wealth, and relationship. So now when we're talking about relationships where they were together for 10, 15, Derrick Jackson is the perfect example of that. I'm not condoning what he did. I'm also not, being, critiquing or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, he succumbed to the temptation of having the curiosity. I did not have the opportunity for bad bitches before I became who I became. Cheating is easy. Cheating is easy, bro. It's easy at that point. You mean to tell me women listen to me all the time? I got over 1 point something million followers. I say a good 70% of those got to be women. So about 700,000 women that are listening to me, that are hype, they're just women. They're women, they're the bad bitches. They're the women that I never had. He played college football. But this is a different world, bro. This is a different world. You got to be able to handle that shit within before you can handle that shit without. So when I talk to women who say shit like, why don't you succumb to the temptation or whatever? I don't succumb to temptation because I don't desire, I'm not curious about desires for the kind like I've had so much pussy. I've had threesomes. I've gotten head. I've done so much shit sexually. It's really not much that can be done. So when I look at when I look at a woman, my first instinct isn't I'm gonna fuck the shit out of her, or I could fuck her. I wonder how she ride. I don't think about that shit because it's like I've had enough experiences to know that it brought me back to the center, to the core, to the principle. Masculine shit brought me back to the core and the principle of I bring out the sexual experience in women. Because when I look back over all of the bodies that I caught, the good sex was because our bodies talk. The bad sex was because our bodies couldn't communicate. So there's no temptation anymore because like I don't know whether our bodies can communicate or not because we're not even talking. So I have those conversations. I had those conversations where women be like, I can't trust this reality because I don't know if you're gonna be. I don't succumb to temptation. You ain't had sex in that long. How do you do it? That's the difference between the two of us. You're fighting temptation. I'm waiting for an opportunity. Yeah, I did a dramatic pause with that. I don't even know how it got here, but it needed to be here. I've been celibate since 2016. It's 2023. So it'll be 7 years, 7 years in September. So for 6 years, I practiced celibacy and I've been celibate. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you just been, because you've been distracting yourself with work. No, I never had the desire to do it because when learning about sexual energies, when learning about energy transferences, when healing the physical aspect of myself from a traumatizing relationship and shit, I started to realize a lot of the shit came from sex. I was never depressed. I was never suicidal. I never had negative thoughts about myself. I didn't have a poor self image until I started fucking this person and we started transferring our energies and shit. Totally different thing. She's getting more vibrant. She's stealing my joy and I'm taking her pain. It's osmosis. Feel me? Some wild shit. But when I stepped back, everybody was like, yo, you just, how you, and even when I was in a relationship where everybody thought I was going to be the one to cheat, I said, no, like, I'm not losing. Because I approach a relationship as I'm already winning. I'm not using you to validate my wins because it goes back to title and status. I'm not using like niggas when our status. If we have nothing, at least we got a bad bitch. Think about that. Yeah, at least I got a baddie. That's different. That's different. But that's what we're programmed into. That's what we're programmed into, and it's a scary world because in that programming, people don't know how to deal with temptation. So as I was saying, when I talk about practicing celibacy for 6 years, everybody like, yo, you're not like, how do you just refrain from it? I'm not. The opportunity hasn't presented itself. Like, you feel me? Like temptation is when I'm curious about an opportunity or an experience, a desire that I don't haven't experienced. I've experienced all the desires that can come into my mind, but now the ones that I haven't experienced, I know I only want one person to provide me with that opportunity because I value sex that much now and I have learned so much about sex that I'm like, I just can't be fucking everybody. So it goes from curiosity. No, it's like that. I'm not curious about no, this ain't the opportunity. This isn't the opportunity that's going to give me children. This isn't the opportunity that's going to help make sure that my great granddaughter, when she comes into this world, I have a counterpart who's already set this up. There's certain things that has to go into it that makes it an opportunity that helps avoid a temptation. So piggybacking it, right? Know I kind of ran down a rabbit hole, went down a bunch of different tangents, but piggybacking into the title and it ties in here. When people say the devil was busy, and I ask people like, yo, who gave him work? Like, who hired him? The devil is busy in your life. Who hired him? And it's not that the devil is busy, is that, and this is where it gets dark. Because if the devil is busy, and we now know that temptation is when curiosity meets the desire for experience you don't lack, what is the devil for real? Other than your own ignorance. Now it makes sense when you hear people nowadays say ignorance is bliss. It's not. You start to study the ancestors and shit, and they say ignorance is evil. I get it now. Ignorance is evil because it catalyzes temptation. Why? Because you are curious about a desire for something, for an experience that you lack. There's 4 levels to the mind: belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Most people stay at the level of belief, and this is why temptation is so easy. It's crazy because when you're at the belief level of the mind, you will operate from a mentality of religiosity. You believe shit, either faith or fear, one of the two, right? Temptation is easy for you. People be like, I'd be wondering, because as somebody who was a Christian, somebody was like, the closer I got to the religion, the more I wanted to do ratchet and hood rat shit. The farther away I got from it and the more I understood it, the less I wanted to do the very tempting shit. It's like, yo, and that's what makes religion work. And that's what makes religion make people do bad shit so that they can. Religion is a dope hustle. I can't even knock it. I can't even knock it. We create a system to make you believe that you have to avoid everything because everything is bad. Everything in this world is bad. Be in the world, not of the world. There's so many different things that makes the world bad. It's a bad place. Stay away from it. You're born into sin. This world is sin-based, right? And I tell you to stay away from it. I spark your curiosity and take away your desire to experience it. So now when it comes into me taking that away and giving you this religion, saying, now, if you do these things that your curiosity wants you to fulfill, you're going to be punished. You're going to be in some way, shape, or form called a sinner. You're going to be bad. You're going to be whatever. It's going to be something that's going to make you that bad motherfucker, right? That's where the problem comes in, because it creates the temptation while punishing you for it and then blaming a being that's not even involved. When people talk about, it's crazy how people talk about the devil and they say the devil is the tempter, whatever the case may be. He tempted Jesus. Look, this is the thing. He tempted Jesus when he was in 40 days, fast for 40. Like, that was a funny story because, like, Jesus was alone for 40 days and 40 nights, but you got four motherfuckers writing about a story. Like, how are y'all there? And I be trying to tell people, like, these four motherfuckers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, never crossed paths. They were never in the same place. That's why their story is a little bit different. But for this particular story, they were all in attendance at the same spot where Jesus was supposed to be alone. How do they know what he said? How do they know what the devil said? And he said to the devil, like, do y'all not see that that's how fiction works? It makes you feel me? It's different. It's different. We're going to talk about that in a couple seasons too, a couple episodes too. But religion has four levels: mythology, ritual, and allegory. Now, I'm going to just show you how powerful religion is. How we have the mythology, the ritual, and the allegory. I'm not going to let you get to the allegory because then you know that none of this is real. I'm not going to teach you all of the rituals because I'm only going to teach you the rituals that'll make you subservient to me, right? So I'm going to flood you with the mythology, but within the mythology, I'm going to show you how bad the world is that you have to live in, and I'm going to tell you to stay away from it, but you're curious about it because you always want to know why it's bad. But then don't worry about it. It's because I said so, or because it is because of that, right? That's what develops. This has been happening since we were children. Motherfuckers are adults. And this is why people are in their 50s, 60 years old saying he ain't done with me yet. I have not reached a point where I can satisfy my own curiosity. Religious motherfuckers are some of the nosiest people ever. Some of the most curious motherfuckers ever, but they don't experience anything because they're afraid to. So everything that they be regurgitating, everything that they be saying to you, be shit that they haven't experienced. But it sounds so convincing. This is why I say it's about how you trust the messenger. Use a cold motherfucker when you can convince somebody that hell is real. Use a cold motherfucker when you can convince somebody that heaven is real and you've never been to either place. And if you go to either place, you're not going to be able to come back to tell the story about what those places were like. Billions of people on this earth right now have bought into this reality that cannot be validated. That's power. That's how powerful religion is. Because I talk to people who say, we're not the flesh, we're the soul. Well, your flesh is the only thing that can burn. So what's hell gonna really be like? Then heaven's supposed to be the land of milk and honey. Most black people are lactose intolerant. Why would you have milk there? You created us in your image and likeness, and we're lactose intolerant. Therefore, you have to be lactose intolerant if you were a physical being. And you're creating a world that has milk in it for us to just drink. It's weird. It's weird. But I said that to create the point of how religious people operate off of temptation. They're curious about everything, but know nothing, but they will speak to you as if they know it all. It's wild because that transitions into every aspect of life. This is why the education system is what it is and why motherfuckers are stupid, because motherfuckers will hear some information and hear it enough that they just repeat it. And if you repeat it enough, this is why I always talk about with your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is blocked by the lies you tell and the lies you hear, whether you know what's a lie or not. A lot of times, because we've heard something a certain amount of times, we took it as true, whether it was real or not. Case in point, connecting it to how religion plays out. You feel me? The letter J didn't exist till 1550. I say that a lot, but these are points that, you feel what I'm saying? How did you convince these people for 1500 years that this, like, when did it click that this is the name? The name is different. It's different. And so they don't question anything. Now, here's why this ties into the temptation and everything too, because religion teaches you not to question the religion. They'll tell you, "Oh, I don't question God." I'm not questioning God. I'm not telling you to question God. I'm telling you, I recommend you question it, but first question your religion first. The fact that your religion and your God are synonymous to where when I tell you to check your religion and you say, "I'm not questioning God," you don't believe in God. You believe in this religion, and this religion has become your God. You dig what I'm saying? But again, because you don't question anything, you'll never absolve your curiosity. And what is the root of temptation? When curiosity meets the desire for an experience that you do not have. You lack the experience that you're desiring, so you're curious about it. So now, when people tell you shit, so I'm tying it back to a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in a church, whatever the case may be. So this programming was in me when I was 11 years old. I never forget it. I think I had to be no. That moment was after 11 when I asked about that. But 11 years old, I asked, I think, my big brother about sex. And he was just like, yo, you too young to know about it. I was giving y'all the clues then. The curiosity is there. Now the temptation has to come in because I have a desire, right, for something that I never experienced, and nobody's going to help me bridge the gap with that experience because they're scared. Oh, you too young for this, or I'm not ready to have this conversation with this child, or this like, or I don't know about shit. Every conversation, like the fact that we have a conversation called the birds and the bees that have absolutely nothing to do with making sense, shows that we're starting the conversation off in confusion. Telling your children, oh, we're going to have a thing about the birds and the bees. I would ask people, what is the birds and bees conversation? Oh, we're talking about, so y'all ain't talking about birds or bees at all. See, you can't even like, we teach our children to call their private parts nicknames. You feel me? As an actual name, you have a vagina, you have a penis, like, because now when these kids are in school or whatever the case may be, I've heard so many teachers say shit like, yeah, this girl, she was just saying that her uncle kept taking her cookies, or he kept touching her cookies every night because somebody had told her that her vagina are cookies. Impressionable. But now you have given me something. I'm curious about what this is, but you have given me some kind of answer for it. So now, as the kids get older, they be like, kids are rebellious teen. No. They're curious. And you're not able to give them experience just because I said so. Because like parents always say, I've been where you've been. Like I've had this conversation with aunties. I had this conversation with my mom, where they've had their conversation where they were like, yeah, I've been where you've been as far as being, I guess woke or not succumbing to religion. I'm like, there's no way you crossed this path the same way I crossed it. It's like, if you did, you would be where I am. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? There's just no way around that shit. You feel me? And I get there, I hear people, they say shit like, well, you just ain't never experienced anything. Y'all have known my whole life. What do you mean I have not experienced anything? There's something you got to experience I've been ran over by a car. I drowned. I faced life in prison. I ain't drowned. I almost drowned in the pool. What? Almost drowned in the pool and I almost drowned in the ocean. The ocean was worse. I got stuck in a sinkhole. I almost faced life in prison. Motherfucking, I got my heart broke. I've gone through some shit. So what the reality is like they can't fathom that no matter I couldn't leave it alone. How did you? Because it doesn't control me. Right? It doesn't control me. When I tell people to quote their favorite verses or whatever the case may be, it's always some subversion shit. The verse that liberated me, because I was scared. I ain't gonna hold you. When I was like, I'm questioning God. When I had to use it to get out of it. First Thessalonians 5:21 will always be my favorite verse. It says, test everything and show yourself approved. This is why I don't argue with people about religions. This is why I don't argue with people. I study this shit. And I'm like, y'all, now I can't be tempted into being converted into a religion. Most people follow religions because they were tempted. That the catalyst was being tempted and they found a conversion. A lot of people that got back into I didn't know anything about it. This is the reason why when I actually learned the book itself, when y'all hear me say knowledge is power, and he or she who has more knowledge than you has more power than you. I learned that from religion. Nobody can talk to me about shit no more when it comes to Christianity. Like, you can't tell me I'm misunderstanding it or I'm misinterpreting it. Like, no, 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 no. To admit that means you don't know what's in it. Because I keep having conversations with people. Well, we start off on some banging type shit. Then afterwards, they start sounding delusional, start looking stupid. And then they go off and they're like, I can admit I don't know it that much. So what was all of this about? You feel what I'm saying? Temptation. They were curious about an experience they had not. They were curious about the desire for an experience that they did not have. And for them, their desire was, I get to convert somebody and show them that I know the Bible better than them. And you got your ass whooped. And now you have to go back and read the Bible again or read this context again. Now reading it from different languages and shit, because it's like, I wasn't prepared for that. You dig what I'm saying? You didn't know anything about an opportunity being presented in front of you right now. This is an opportunity to learn. So it's like when people connect, they are being tempted to show that, I'm a warrior, soldier. I'm like, no, I'm giving you the opportunity to stand on your religion. Our conversation is going to be different. I'm going to fuck you up. Because I already know how you stand on it. I already know how to stand on it. So it's going to be different. You feel what I'm saying? So now, segueing this out of the religious side and just putting it in a general perspective, right? When we were young, that rebellious teenage stage was because we were curious. We were asking these questions, and then certain questions you started to know that you couldn't ask, so you just figure out the answer. Most of us were already fucking before we had the talks about sex. It's too late. It's too late. For some of us, it's just, make sure you use a condom. For the boys, it's make sure you always use a condom so you don't get nobody pregnant. For the girls, do I need to put you on birth control? You're not even going to talk to me about the shit yet. You're just going to ask, do you need it? Because it's there. The inability to communicate healthily, to say, I'm not ready to know that my child is having sex. I'm not able to know that my child, but I'm not going to give my child the tools about sex because I don't have them. I learned that about a lot of the elders. There's things that now that I talk about, it's like, yo, that I wish I would have did. Wait a minute. So you didn't have this information when I was a kid. There's no way you could have done it. I can't be mad at you. I try not to get mad at certain people when I realize how ignorant they are. Temptation works because motherfuckers is ignorant. So now when people talk to me, like, now I'm at a point where people have said shit to me like, you're not fun anymore. You don't like, I don't like shit. Don't like, you're trying to do something that's not tempting to me because I have the experience. Tying it back into what I was saying about previously with the older sister saying, you're wise beyond your ears. I'm not. I'm as wise as I'm supposed to be. I experience shit. And I'm not knocking her, shitting on her, saying she doesn't experience shit or she hasn't experienced life or no shit like that. But the fact that I've experienced shit that has given me understanding that people have like, yo, you're too young to be like, no, I'm not. Age wise, I might be too young, but I'm experienced enough to be able to talk about this shit. You feel what I'm saying? But it goes deeper because my experiences keep me from being tempted. I'm about to say temptated, but my experiences keep me from being tempted and succumbing to temptations. You feel me? So now, when it comes to cheating and shit, people that are cheating in relationships, they cheat in real life. They cheat in that's what be getting me, yo. Motherfuckers be like, I wouldn't think that they were gonna cheat. This is what, because we predicate our reality and we get into relationships based off of lust. Follow me here. Because we get off of relationships based off of lust and we set the standard based off temptation. Ooh, I just want to know about this one. Our relationships are so rooted in temptation. The question isn't do me and this person work, and I'm gonna get into compatibility next. Do me and this person work, or what can this person do for me? How can this person be a part of my life, be an asset in my life? You feel what I'm saying? Not can I be that for that person? You feel what I'm saying? Because that's when you're creating an opportunity. But when you're succumbing to temptation, it's like, what can you do for me? There's literally a song that says, what have you done for me lately? What have you done to keep my temptation in you, to keep me tempted in you? You tempted me. I have to create a world that you're always curious about. That's no fucking fun, bro. Sis, all y'all, think about that, yo, for a second. In order for you to keep that same temptation you had when we first started, I have to create, I have to constantly recreate myself and create an entire world that keeps you curious while you're doing nothing. You're not creating a curiosity for me because you're fine. Accept me, accept you as you are. That's how I have, but you can't accept me as I am because who we are is getting comfortable and familiar. There's no more curiosity, therefore, there's no more temptation. Motherfuckers be like, how you throw away 80% healthy relationship for 20% or the temptation, nigga. If I'm not getting that 20% is huge because the curiosity is there. I have now a desire for something I'm not experiencing. I had a girlfriend one time tell me, this was before I started eating pussy and shit. She was like, you don't eat pussy? I said, nah, that shit's nasty. Because at the time, I had never done it before. But in my mind, I've done a lot of fucking. And so I'm like, yo, pussy gets wet as fuck. Like, I don't, like, no, my mouth is already wet. I don't want that shit together. That's gross. Like, that's how I used to feel till I tried it. Oh, never say never. Nigga, shit changes. But the purpose in that was that when I said that to that person, it was like, that's non-negotiable. Like, I don't have the desire to do it. Right. So she was like, so then I was like, so yeah, if you got your pussy ate by another dude, that's not cheating to me. I said, that's not cheating because I'm not doing it. Like, it's not now, if y'all fuck after he eats you, whatever the case may be, now you got something well, who gonna fuck? I was like, yeah, that's, it makes no sense. So you got to just deal without it. But it's like, at that point was where I started to realize that what you're not doing, and when people say what you won't do, another person will, it's all temptation. That means that we go into these situations temptation based. It's like, yo, feel my curiosity. There's something about you. Neo got a song, she got her own. Ooh, there's something about the woman that don't need hers. But what is it? You don't know what it is. Niggas were like, really, we develop lifelong relationships or attempt to have lifelong relationships and parental shit and start parenting people off of the fact that we're tempted. We tempted by another motherfucker. Something about you. I think you could be a good father. Do you think, like, there's women right now that have told me, like, and I respect them. I respect them. I'm not mad at it. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I've gotten every year since like 2017, I've gotten a happy Father's Day thing from people. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not a fucking father to like use a father figure. Let's not play that, bro. You up there. But I always told people, I even had a conversation with my sister. I said, I don't have kids yet because I was always scared. I didn't think I was a good father. They were telling me, you could possess this skill, this quality, all of this. You would make a good father. Y'all ain't hearing me though. I don't give the fuck what y'all think because their experience of me has a different curiosity. So they're not thinking of it. They're wondering why I could doubt myself based off me. You know me, the entrepreneur. You know me, the forensic scientist. You know me, the college graduate. You know me, the podcaster. You know me, the author. You know me, but do you know me, the father? No, you can't know me as the father because I don't have kids. So when I'm telling women, it's like, yo, your curiosity, when they say, oh, I see the longevity, you can be a good father, all of this stuff, that's me as a good person right now. Who I am as a person may not translate to who I am as a father. We get into our relationships trying to find the totality of some shit that we've never experienced. And so we magnify everything off of one glimpse of this person. And that's what we judge everything by. So we're like, you're a good person in this regard. So I'm going to assume you're good across the board. And now my curiosity is how well you're going to be across the board. And motherfuckers really be dropping the ball on other shit. When the girlfriend that I got cheated on, I have to own the other side of the shit. You feel what I'm saying? I was boring to her. I was boring. I'm boring now, right? Because when I'm focused, I'm boring. You feel me? When I got shit to work on, I'm boring. And I know that a lot of women say, "Ooh, I like a man who stay out the way," until you have the man who stays out the way. Until you have the man who's focused on making sure I got to get this important. Like that relationship that I involved myself with, it was the only time that I deviated from my plan ever. Fucked me up, almost fucked my entire life up. Right? So now when people telling me shit like, so I had a conversation with a woman who say, you need to heal. You need to heal. Whoever hurt you, no, I've healed from that shit. I've healed and I've recovered. So much so that I'm not gonna do it again. That's one of the problems with temptation. And it ties into what we're saying. What a lot of people do is they don't heal or recover. They stop hurting and they go back to the temptation. Right? I'm curious now. Did I stop hurting enough to go through this pain again? Stupid. Stupid. That's dumb as fuck. I'm not doing that shit. So, like I said, talking to the shorty, she was telling me, yeah, because you just need to heal. Somebody hurt you. That's why you won't let nobody love you. I mean, that's no. I will let somebody love me. I mean, that's, but I don't mix business and pleasure anymore. I don't like when I'm focused on some shit. I have to focus on the shit. We can be cool when I know that you're willing. When I can see you producing shit. That's not bitter. That's not hurt. That's not broken. That's recovered and knowing I'm not going through this stupid shit again. To go through it again. And that's what a lot of people think. They think when you heal, you put yourself in the exact same situation again. No, stupid. That's what happens when you stop hurting. Did I stop hurting enough to go back into this pain? No, when you've healed and you recover, you're like, I don't fuck with that. That hurts me. I'm not. Mm-mm. I'm not going to deal with that. It hurts. It hurts too bad. Now motherfuckers thinking that you're in pain or that you're not healed or that you're bitter or whatever because you don't want to be hurt again. Now, there's a difference. Let me say it like this. People think that you're still bitter and rude because you don't want to suffer through a pain again. Not that you're not willing to hurt, but you're not like they misconfuse the thing. So people be thinking that not wanting to be hurt a certain way is the same thing as not wanting to be hurt. Mm-mm. I can't expect pain out of nothing that never hurt me. So I will always have the curiosity or the desire to understand something that I haven't experienced if it never gave me anything. I can't look at this and say, I'm going to fuck up because you fucked up and you told me that you fucked up. So I'm going to fuck up because I'm like you. No, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. But like I said, when you recovered, I'll use it in a very simple way if it's confusing. If I step in a fucking bear trap, that bitch closes around my leg, snaps, tears my fucking ligaments up, breaks my shin, the whole motherfucker, right? I go to the doctor, they get the bear trap off, they splint my leg, my shit. I take my osteo shit to get my bone reabsorption back in, my nerve damage, but they fix everything. Everything is realigning. You think I'm gonna step in a bear trap again? Fuck no. I'm not even gonna try. I'm not even gonna look and say, hey, this is when I see a bear trap, that bitch fucked me up the last time. I'm not fucking with the bear trap. That ain't got shit to do with fear. That has everything to do with understanding the pain fully and recovering from it. Say, I'm not getting hit with that pain again. Now, if there's another trap, a sling or some shit like that, I've never experienced that before. So I can't necessarily say I'm going to avoid that. I'm definitely going to avoid a bear trap though. Because I know what the fuck a bear trap would do to me. When we look at relationships, a lot of people think that they're the superior person or they're the super person who's just transcends reality and, oh, I'm good. You don't have to worry about me. I'm going to be good because I know you don't know what we'll catalyze out of each other. And so we're dealing with that person where it's like, yo, you're not like so many people get guilted into relationships because somebody is so tempted about being with you that they can't see that there's no opportunity there. I've dealt with a lot of women who like we were talking and shit. This is one of the reasons why, like, within the last couple years, well, I say since my entrepreneurship journey, um, a lot of women just didn't make it. Well, really, none of them made it because you feel me, like because of where I am right now. But in the ones that we actually taught had some viable shit, the ones we became friends and shit, like in the initial point, the temptation was there, but I didn't allow the temptation to work. Right? There was something because I will always ask, like, as we're building, as we're growing and shit, we transition into friends, but as we're building and growing, I'm like, yo, you got to make me like you back. Why you ain't give me your number yet? Why can't we? I had a conversation with one who asked me why I didn't give her my number yet. I said, I don't like you yet. You haven't made me like you back. I've literally caught flack. Nowadays, and this conversation was about a good 3-4 years ago, right? But now women are on the, oh, he's zesty, he's this, he's that, he's this. You're not supposed to talk to women how women talk to men. Huh, nigga, got me fucked up. But it was, you want women to chase you. No, I made a post one time, and this motherfucker literally, like, I hate when y'all do this shit because y'all look real stupid. Y'all try to argue with me about what I said, tell me what I said because of what you interpreted and what you got out of that. That ain't got shit to do with me. That's you. And I'm gonna remind you that I'm saying what's listed here. So the conversation was, it was I posted a video where this woman was looking at a man like just seductively eyeballing him moving up and down. And the clip afterwards was, now if a man stared at a woman like that, it'll be a problem. And my caption was, damn sure would. And like, don't stare at me like that. That's just creepy. If you're interested, don't stare, just speak. So this person comments, oh, you just want women to chase you. No, nigga, that's not what the fuck I said. I said, if I have no interest in you, you're staring at me, I'm minding my business, I just feel you fucking looking at me, yo. And I'm like, yo, speak. Don't be creepy and stare. I don't give a fuck who you are. So she's like, so you want women that aren't interested in you just to chase you? We need more men. Nigga, what the fuck is you talking about? I'm sitting here telling you, if I don't like, if I have an interest in you, I'm gonna approach you. I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to say something. If you have not crossed my mind and you're interested in me, that means you need to engage in the conversation. And I'm like, she's like, that's not what you, this is why so many women are either single or settling. Single or settling. They be interested in the motherfucker, right? They be interested in the motherfucker that is not currently interested in them. Not necessarily like they're not cute or anything like that, but doesn't know. So hasn't reached out and said, okay, bet we don't have this mutual connection where, oh, she cute. Oh, he's cute. Oh, as the man, I think she registers that I'm cute. Let me go speak to her. No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. So a lot of times women get caught up in some shit where now they're like, I should have talked to him. I should have spoke. Why didn't you? Well, because men are supposed to do it. Okay, now, when men are supposed to be the ones pursuing this shit, y'all know I always tie it back to the episode. When men are supposed to be the ones pursuing this shit, we only pursue out of temptation, curiosity, based off of the desire of something we haven't experienced, which is you and the yams. We've gotten pussy. We've gotten head. We've been fucking since he was 15 years old, but we never had you. First thing we do after we fuck a new chick is go tell our homies whether the pussy was good or not. So are we really in it for women? Now it ties back into the other part when I was saying, we're homosexuals who like vagina. We go back to dap the niggas up. Hey, nigga, you should try it next. Hey, it's different. It's different. I didn't realize how wired I was to certain shit until like I was talking to one of my homies about, we was going over body counts and shit. He was like, yo, when'd you fuck her? When I was like, he started like, yo, when do you be fucking? Like, so don't worry about it. You feel me? But the point is, I don't talk much about it because for me, it's about the opportunity. It's not about the temptation. The temptation is quick. You feel me? This is why motherfuckers get into it. I remember the first time it was put into perspective for me. Right? I was dealing with this woman, man. This was in that era, like senior year at post graduation type shit, heartbreak. I was a mean motherfucker, right? But this particular woman, it was like I wanted to fuck her since my sophomore. My sophomore year was her freshman year in college, but I was in a relationship. And I wanted to fuck her since then. Temptation. I just never succumbed to the temptation because I said I don't want the experience. I knew somebody that fucked her and told me that, but you don't experience it for yourself, so you still want it. So after I got out of a relationship, I started flirting with her, and then we started fucking, right? So now, the first time we fucked, it was just like, bam, as soon as I put it in, I'm like, oh shit, oh shit. And I stopped. I was like, hold up. She was like, calm down with your overexcited ass. Damn, it's going, because we had that kind of vibe. She was like, calm down with your overexcited ass. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. It's going to be here for you. You can stay, you can slow down a little bit. I was like, all right. You feel me? Busted it down, did what I need to do and shit. Got my shit back, right? But the point that I was making with that was that I was called out on it because the temptation was pointed out. I don't even know if she knew that. Oh yeah, I know it's just temptation. You just want to fuck. That's it. And it was like, I've been wanting to fuck for a long time. Then it's like, after I got it, it was cool. The first night was like, all right, now that's what I got to try to, But then after that, it's like, I got it now. I know how this body. I know how to handle this body bends. And this shit. I know how to handle these curves now. I drove the motherfucker. I know what it is. But before that, it's temptation, and that's why it's easy to succumb to. Like, this is why it's like easy to seduce motherfuckers. Like, curiosity is a motherfucker, and ignorance is something else. Like, when these two things go hand in hand, you can get a motherfucker to do whatever you want to do. Most of the women, like I said, most of the women that I've had sex with in my life, most of the women that I've, is the temptation was there because I knew like they all wanted to fuck me. There was something they'd say it was just, there was something about me. They just had to experience. They just had to have. You feel me? They couldn't put their finger on it. I put my finger on it. Gotcha. Eh. But nah, it's all in what the life teaches you. But life teaches us that we're supposed to overcome temptation by gaining experience. That's it. That's the only way. That's the message in all of this. Like, you overcome temptation by gaining experience. A lot of people will ask me, like, it ties into a little bit of discipline too. They're like, how are you so disciplined? Why don't you distract yourself? Because the only thing that I focus on is the only thing I'm curious about is experiencing life. If I've already experienced the experience, I don't have time to dwell on that. Like, pussy can't get thrown at me no more. Like, and that's what get me, because it's like, it be niggas that be like well older than me, and it's like, yo, y'all still getting beat up by pussy, bro? Like, that's y'all vice? Like, y'all been getting it, like, how? There's nothing new. I get you. They're like, oh, women say the shit, hey, she ain't put it down like I put it down. I've heard that shit so much. I'm not even tempted by that threat. You feel me? I bet she ain't got nothing on me. She just might. You feel me? I done had some that's like I had a girlfriend one time ask me, am I the best? No, don't you ever ask that question. I've had way too many bodies to rank you in the best. Don't even do that to yourself. Like, please don't. Like, I have head rankings, I have riding rankings, I have back shot rankings, I have fucking 69 ratings. I have different rankings. So it's like, when you ask the question, it's like, don't ask that. Don't ask that shit. Like, you feel me? And then you have the overall motherfucker. Like, when the motherfucker stands supreme over the all, like the top 3 overall, don't even ask if you're in that. Don't even ask about those. It's cool if it would only been 3 women. 3 or 4 women, I'll shuffle it. I don't know how many women I've had sex with. So the top 3 that I can still remember, shit, don't even ask that question. Don't even ask that question, because that'll hurt your feelings, right? But this is a part of the temptation piece that I was saying, because women will throw that at you like, she can't do what I do. Yes, she can. You ain't got good knees. Shut up. All your knees bad and you're anemic. She's gonna fuck me the same way. I'm bullshit, y'all. I'm being man. I love y'all, man. I'm playing around. But for real though. Real shit, real shit. When we're succumbing to the temptations and shit, these are the biggest things that people get. So when people my bad, y'all, I will get back. So when we're talking about these temptations, right? Like I was mentioning, I don't know how I got it here because I only mentioned one part of the devil that I was supposed to be mentioning. Here's the second part and the third. So the devil was a tempter, right? But all he did was spark the curiosity. Like, read every instance when the devil pulled up in the Bible. Like I said, when Jesus was there, he was there with Jesus when Jesus was supposed to be by himself. And niggas was recording the story. He's talking to Jesus, saying, if on the top of the cliff, he said, you jump, the angel's gonna catch you. You feel me? You feel me? I give you the whole world. Eat this bread, turn this stone into bread and eat because you hungry, nigga. It's been 40 days. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's temptation. Temptation is when curiosity meets the desire. And curiosity meets the desire for the experience that you do not have. Every point of the Bible, every point of any religious text where the devil shows up, that's what he does. They say the devil come to steal, kill, and destroy. He hasn't stolen, killed, or destroyed anything. No funny shit. Read the books. He's never killed anybody, especially the Bible. He shows up 3 times and he never touched a soul. That's crazy, right? Because it's just like, nigga, I've always been told he was the bad motherfucker. Nah, every time he showed up to tempt, and to tempt was to put the curiosity with the desire for the information you don't have. When it was Adam and Eve, he said he don't want y'all to eat of the true, the fruit of knowledge. They changed it to good and evil, but it was actually the tree of knowledge. He don't want y'all to eat that because you will become him. Your curiosity will stop. When your curiosity stops, means you can't be tempted. When you're no longer tempted, you can't be a sinner, which means the whole book falls apart because God has no existence. God has no need. When you're not sinning, then him killing Jesus is nothing. Only way him killing Jesus is if you're tempted by shit, and you're only tempted by shit that you're afraid of, that you have no information about and no experience, because you'll become like him. Adam and Eve didn't even know they were naked at first. Till they ate the fruit and they're like, yo, this nigga got us walking around frolicking, just ugh. It's weird. Then the final instance was with Job. Devil really didn't do shit in Job's story. They make it seem like it was like God killed his whole family, took everything from him, and then God told devil, like, he said, yo, I bet you now, if the devil is the tempter, we got to look. Now, here's a dope point. The devil is a tempter, but we also know the devil is Lucifer. Lucifer, the name means the bringer of light. Wow, that's amazing to know, ain't it? The devil's real name is Lucifer. Lucifer is the bringer of light. Jesus is the light in the way. I'm not going to mention that, but I want to talk about how the devil ties to temptation. The devil is the bringer of light, and we know that he's the tempter, whatever. And temptation is when curiosity meets the desire for something that you don't have, for experience that you don't have. Is that not illuminating the circumstance to give you the information? Because to get the experience, you have to have the information, right? You have to have the knowledge, illumination. So if he's the bringer of light, he's bringing you to the light that only takes you from the knowledge to the experience, but absolving the curiosity. So in a strange plot twist, the tempter removes temptation. It's crazy, right? Now we're going to tie this to the real world again. When people say, well, this person tempted me, or why did this person come into your life? You came into my life to tempt. Exactly. To illuminate some shit. To bring light to a certain situation that you're dealing with. That's why I tempted you. And you failed. How many people failed the temptations because they didn't gain the experience that they were supposed to gain? They succumb to a different experience. There's situations right now that you have gone through, the situation that you're probably going through right now, that you're being tempted because you don't have the experience of the information, but now you're testing. You're trying to find your curiosity, right? So one thing that fucked everybody up, now this ties into temptation in a very beautiful way. Forex. Everybody is no longer tempted by the money you can make in Forex because of the experience they add with the scammers. I'm going to say that one more time. In the initial moment, Forex, that whole boom worked because people were tempted. The curiosity was sparked for the desire for an experience that they lacked. The desire to have money and make as much money as you want is something that they have not experienced. And now they're curious about the Forex because of this. This same curiosity is gone because they went down the wrong path, and now they're attributing everything to Forex, not to the scammers in Forex that scammed them. This was one of the things that got me the most, because people would always tell me, like, you don't advertise as much, or you don't market as much, or you act like you don't care because I do it. I do it. The only reason why I'm able to market, the reason why now that I market and run advertisements and shit with So Frail, I mean with Master in the Market so much now and Iwi now is because certain shit is done. Certain shit I couldn't do because I had to put it in autopilot. Like, so now I have a webinar and shit. Like, there's certain things that I just couldn't do anymore, right? But I was doing it. So it's like while I'm doing one-on-one sessions, like I will have people, oh, you didn't post today on social media because this must be wrong. No, bitch, I had just got paid. I got paid $450 to teach somebody on one-on-one. I'm not worried about y'all free motherfuckers who just want my content. Fuck y'all. This motherfucker paid me $450. Y'all won't even pay attention. What the fuck I look like? So they'll be like, oh, well, you're not posting. It must be the markets must not be. No, I'm in the markets. I can't tell you. I'm not going to spend my time telling you every day about the markets. I'm not convincing you. This was another thing that ties into I was never trying to tempt them. That's why I've learned over time how seduction works and how different things like when you understand temptation and you understand that it's like when people say shit, oh, you just love the idea of me. You damn right. You know how many women love the idea of me that have loved the idea of me that we even started talking. And then it's like, as we're talking, it's just like, it ain't gonna work. Cause I know what, like, I'm trying to build an opportunity. Why you gotta be so serious? Why you gotta be so this? Because you're gonna meet all three of my energies. You're not just gonna meet my fraternal energy. That is one of the reasons why temptation works so much because we meet with our childish energy. We're tempted by our fraternal and soror energies in relationships, not our spousal, not our paternal and our maternal. Maternal and paternal energy is repulsive. That's when the women get into, you ain't my daddy, you can't tell me what to do or do. Like, yo, you trying to act like you my mama and shit. That's when you clashing with those. You need to be able to be viable with those two energies. You need to be able to be viable with spousal energies. But the only one that we seem to be viable with is the energies that are tied to fraternal and soror energy. Those energies are easily tempted. That's why the next shiny thing changes their mind. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Because it's fraternal and soror energy, because temptation works heavily there. When I talk about these levels of the mind, when I talk about these levels of the masculine and feminine energy, when I talk about these things, these are the reasons why. I don't just be playing. Like, I've observed the world and I watched how this shit plays out. And I watch how we lose as humans. We suffer. We struggle. We don't know what the fuck we're doing with this world. And the world ain't hard to do. But when our mindset is at a certain space, you feel what I'm saying? This is how consumerism works too. I know it seems like I'm talking about a lot of shit, but temptation works off consumerism. You don't have it. You've never experienced this shit, so you're gonna get it. This is why Jordan can drop the same shoe every 4 years, every 3 or 4 years, and just add like a little accent to the shit. It's the same shoe. They just put a little piece on it, a little thing, and call it an 11 2.2, or just give a different name to the shit. Because your temptation to get it, the curiosity and the desire, your curiosity meets the desire to have something you never experienced. Oh, I had the ones back in 96, but these are different ones. They're the Jordan ones, nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's little pieces like that that show you how powerful temptation is. But also, this is why I mentioned in the beginning, it shows you how powerful temptation is, but also how weak it is. When you know that temptation, as grand as we try to make it, we tie that shit to the devil. We say the temptation goes right hand in hand with the devil. That ain't nothing but the devil. When you are making a conscious decision to do something that you desire, that is in your mind, desire to do, just because you didn't tell anybody, that is in there. That's how you calibrate it towards it. You are in there. You are desired to do it. When you realize that it's you, not a devil, not a demon, not a dark force, it's not a reprobated mind. You're not prodigal son. It's you being curious about what you desire and you have no experience for it. That's when temptation becomes easy. It's like, you're right. Temptation is a choice. It ain't no shit that I really got to succumb to and feel like, oh, this is just so hard. I just don't know what to do. You want that. Desire is powerful as fuck. Powerful as fuck. I used to say it all the time. If you remember from the videos and the early podcasts, what we think is love now is an amalgamation of infatuation, admiration, desire, and lust. You know how easy it is to tempt the motherfucker based off of those four principles? It's easy as fuck. Matter of fact, it's so easy that those four principles are what trigger curiosity. right? Because now you have the desire of something that you want. You feel what I'm saying? And now when you're curious about it, it sparked the curiosity in you. Now it's just a matter of time. You don't have the experience. So your curiosity is gonna go nowhere. Like they say, should curiosity kill the cat or whatever the case may be. I don't know how that applies. I don't know what the fuck that even means. Um, but it's provocative and it gets the people going. People would say curiosity killed the cat, right? There's levels to that shit. Because if we tie that to temptation, and temptation being with curiosity and desire meet, like the cat puts itself in a situation that goes to gain the experience of desire. And the experience is death for the cat, not in real life. But even still, it is death because you come to an end. The ending of the thought of how I feel about this. You ever notice how there's a limitation to certain things that you have, but like once you experience it, that limitation is gone? It it's most heavily with my master in marketing with inflation students, right? They can learn all of the information, but somehow the shit changes when they actually get in the game and they make their first trade. When they make their first trade, place their first investment, whatever the case may be, and whether they lose or win, whether they gain or loss, whatever the case may be, it triggers and everything else starts to open up. They have the experience now, so the temptation is different. You feel what I'm saying? The temptation is different. You're more cautious, you're more aware. But when you don't have the information, temptation is easy. When you don't have the experience, temptation is easy. This is why I talk about the four levels of the mind, but specifically of how experience is what I thrive on the most. I don't give a fuck about theory no more like I used to. I don't give a fuck about the knowledge of it all. I need the experience too, because experience is the only thing that absolves me of the curiosity. When I tell people, knowledge, whoever has the most knowledge has the most power. When I know more than you, I can control your curiosity. If I can control your curiosity, that means I can tempt you. If I control your curiosity and I know what you desire, I can tempt you if I know what you haven't experienced. You feel me? This is one of the reasons why, if you look now, what do they send at you? Like I'm looking at black men as a whole right now. I know I didn't say it, but it's like when you look at the industry, the music industry and shit, it's always the same shit. When you try to get your masters back, when you try to make a big move, what did they hit you with? This is sexual assault. You sexually assaulted somebody, you did something. Like there's certain things that happen because it's like, all right, we already created the world for the world. We can tempt the world into believing that you would do something like this because of the way your music is portrayed, because of these different things. We created the world to make the temptation work. So we can tempt anybody to do whatever we want to do because we can control them. Mind control is so easy when you understand temptation. You feel what I'm saying? It's weird. It's weird and exploitive because what happens is the world begins to shift. The world begins to transition within you and outside of you. When you are unable to beat temptation, like from this point forward, if you hear and you listen to this shit, and if you ever are on some type time where you like the devil was busy, I was tempted. No, you wanted it. You desired whatever it was, and you had the curiosity about it, and you didn't have the experience, so you sought the experience. But a lot of times the experience doesn't go with the reality. That's why motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, end up on some bullshit. Oh, I cheated. I made a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. You made the exact take you wanted to make. It wasn't a mistake. It was a take. And you didn't fuck up. That's exactly what you wanted to do. You didn't want it to go that way. When I cheated on a woman, I meant to cheat on her. It wasn't I couldn't flip it if I got caught. She doesn't know. But if I got caught, I couldn't flip it and say, "Well, you was never there. It was this, it was that." I wanted to cheat. I wanted to fuck somebody else. Like honestly, I just wanted some pussy and you weren't there. Because I was 15. She was like 15 or 14, but we went to different high schools and shit. So it's like when I wanted some pussy, she wasn't there. So I fucking what was available. Temptation doesn't necessarily have to be some grandiose thing that breaks you down. It's simple. You don't have the experience and your curiosity and desire are clashing with each other. That's it. That's it. From this point forward, I don't want nobody to see it as, oh, this is it's something weighing down on my soul. No, you're curious, you're nosy, and you don't have the experience for what you're curious about. Either gain the experience or continue to be tempted. Now you're resisting it because you naturally want to go towards the experience to get it over. Something that I learned to listen to, and I'm gonna try to start wrapping it up here. I wrote an album like 10 years ago almost. It's almost time for the next one. But in it, one of the songs I did was called "Oh What Ifs and Oh Wells." I in that moment when I wrote that song, because I said I will never live my life with another what if. I don't give a fuck about because what ifs are when when you don't succumb to temptation. Now I know it's like, yo, so you just said you're not gonna succumb to temptation. Then how you gonna talk about what ifs and oh wells? Because when I have the experience, when you have the experience, the temptation is gone. That's the purpose of temptation. Like I said, if the great tempter, his name is Lucifer, and it's the light bringer of light. That's what temptation is supposed to do. It's supposed to bring you to light. You got to gain the understanding of some shit you've never experienced before. Otherwise, if you don't experience it, it's gonna keep tempting you. And it's gonna keep tempting you. Now you're resisting it. You feel what I'm saying? Now you're resisting it. This is by no means, because I just thought about this when I started thinking about weed and drug addiction and shit like that. It's not to say by any means go smoke crack. But there's been enough experiences with crack that if you smoke crack today, you stupid. Like niggas, we know the effects of crackheads. We're not tempted by that. There's no curiosity in there. When crack first started, that's why they called it a poor man's high, but the rich man's high, but the poor man's nightmare. Motherfuckers like, yo, I can get high off $10. Like, this is getting me high, right? They didn't know the devastating effects that would have in the long run. But because of those effects that it had in the long run, that's when we started selling drugs. Because I don't want to smoke it. What's that Kendrick Lamar song? You're like, I don't smoke crack, motherfucker. I sell it. That shit had me die. I don't know what it was. But that was an important piece because the temptation was not, you know what I'm saying? It was there, but the temptation changed. It's like, yo, I wonder how much money I can make off this. Niggas is that addicted to it. Then you become the drug dealer. Then they increase the like this shit they know how to tempt. So when crack came into like now, crack is not doing anything. But now because of that, they legalize weed. Got to be careful with the weed now because with them legalizing weed, we're now going to tempt you. Why would like when the government starts tempting you for some shit, pay the fuck attention. This is why I vow, and what I say is knowledge is power, and he or she who has more knowledge than you has more power than you. I vow to never let anybody in my immediate circle who has access to my immediate circle have more knowledge than me. This is not to say I'm going to exploit you. This is not to say I'm going to be the one, but I cannot have people have power over me because that means when you have the power, you can tempt me. When somebody can tempt you, they can make you do whatever they want you to do. We could play that role like, no, I'm not like, no, I've done it and I've had it done to me. I've done it years on end for women, tempting the fuck out of them, pulling their string along and everything, triple Fing them, bind them, fuck them, forget them, leave them alone. The temptation is gone. I just wanted to fuck you and I did. And now there's nothing else to do. You feel what I'm saying? When the government has that power over you, I've had women literally just, because they knew they played on the temptation. They knew I was curious about them. And I had no experience, so they played on that. I didn't know she was a hoe. I didn't know she would bust it open that fast. I'm like, yo, this when it comes out, you ain't got to lie to kick it. Yes, we do. Because we got to overcome that temptation. We got to tempt you. Honesty isn't tempting. Lies are tempting. You feel me? Because it illuminates when you have to see through the lie to gain the experience of what's going on. Now you've been tempted by a lie. Back to the block throat chakra because it's blocked by lies you hear and lies you tell, whether you know it's a lie or not. Temptation works by capitalizing on the curiosity. Now you can easily be trusted. Let a motherfucker take control over you because with your temptation, they're creating trust. I'm going to say certain shit or show you certain shit to make you believe me. That's why I tell you, don't believe nobody. Don't even believe me. Look up the information, fact check it, find it. So that way I can't tempt you. You feel me? I can't tempt you. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to really wrap it up with this one. That's one of the reasons why when I look at mastering the market and play with inflation community, just that whole ordeal when I was like, people were like, yo, you need to show how much you're making. I know I don't want to tempt you. I don't want to entice nobody because you're going to get here and see how hard it is. I'd rather show you how hard it is and make you let you make the decision. Because I can't teach anybody who doesn't want to learn, but they only want to earn. Like that's not gonna work. I've done it before. Motherfuckers just wanted to make money. I put my financial freedom in your hands. Why, nigga? So they weren't in your hands at first. I tempted you. But now it's on me to help you get through the experience and overcome the temptation and move forward in this game so you can actually make this money. You dig what I'm saying? Shit just get different. Shit get real different. And it gets scary because how much of our lives have we been tempted? Like motherfuckers say, yo, I'm tempted to do this because I'm curious. And there's now the desire is developing and I don't have an experience to match this with. You feel me? And because I don't have the experience to match this with, I've been to the will of it. And the higher the will of it, the easier I've been. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up there because this motherfucker's getting long. Welcome back to season 9. And that was temptation. I don't know why that was heavy on me, but temptation is real. Like, it's crazy. It's like, I be watching how motherfuckers like, I'm like, how did you fall to that? And now I get it. That's why I say like temptation is that powerful, but it's that weak. It's that powerful when you don't have the understanding about it and you don't look at it like you look at it as, oh, this is the devil. Temptation is the devil. This is a deity that I can't. This is the deity. Think about this. Temptation. They have us believing that temptation belongs to a deity that our deity is in opposition to. Our deity still fighting this thing. There has to be a great battle that has to go down for these niggas to clash, and then he has to lock them up. He's not even gonna kill them. He's just gonna lock them up and put them back in hell. It's weird, but you feel what I'm saying? We have tied temptation to that. The deity we serve can't even beat that motherfucker right now. We're in the like the fight has been going on for all of eternity. These niggas, he still ain't. I don't know, but the thing is, he created them, but he can't destroy them at will. That's mind-boggling. Think about it. He created this child. Now he can't take the child out. But he's allowing the child to run amok and do whatever he's going to do. That's it's different. It's different. But that is who tempts us. An entity that our deity has not beaten yet. So that makes us believe we can't beat temptation. So when we are tempted, we think that it's, oh, this is a devil pulling strings. No, it's you being curious for a desire you have no experience about. That's it. That's it. That's the formula. That's it. When you realize that shit and you go back to the things that tempted you. You feel me? Go back to the things that tempted you. They're tied into that. The curiosity is there. The lack of experience. And that's when you get to making choices. Like when people, I don't have a choice, you didn't. Temptation wasn't going to give you a choice. It gave you the only option available, and that option was to gain the experience right now. Gain the experience that you're desiring. You feel me? That's why sex sells so well. Because it creates a desire that everybody wants to have, but nobody will get. And it flows in such a way that it's a different experience every time. So even if you had some bad sex, you'll double back and try again. Because it could have been a fluke. You feel me? It's levels to how powerful temptation is, but it's not a devil. It's you. It's your mind. Curiosity is that powerful and that potent because when curiosity meets with your desire for something that you don't have and you have no experience to match it with, like I just made a post and I think that's probably why I was able to to have this episode so smoothly. I just made a post, and there was a little kid, and a vacuum cleaner was on, and the vacuum cleaner was just laying down on the couch. The little kid seen the vacuum cleaner, not the cleaner, but the hose. The kid seen the hose, heard the sound, seen that it was sucking, and was like, grabbed it and put it to his face. And then after it grabbed it, got sucked off, it was like, it started crying. Like, little boy started crying. Was like, ah. He's not curious anymore. He can't be tempted by a vacuum cleaner hose anymore. He can't be tempted by putting a vacuum cleaner hose to his face. He can't be tempted to do that shit anymore. Like, parents used to ask kids and shit. Like, I've had this asked to me several times and shit, and I didn't know to answer because a lot of it was scary. But it's like, what compelled you to do that? I don't know, because we can't admit the real answer. I wanted to know about this, and I didn't know about this. That's the same as saying I don't know when you really think about it. But it's like, what compelled you to do this? I don't know. I really cannot tell you why I did it. I was curious about it and I had the desire, but I had no experience. That's what I can't tell you about. I can't tell you I didn't have the experience to tell me to stop. If the world never had stop signs, how would you know to stop at a stop sign? Because there has to be some kind of experience tied to it. So then when you ask a motherfucker, what made you stop at this crosswalk? I don't know, man. Something just told me to stop. That's something that's telling you, that's whatever it is, that's the experience coming to you or leaving from you, depending on how you're looking at it. But it's tied to curiosity. Every decision you're gonna make in this world is gonna be based off that, whether you're curious or not. Now, it goes into the next levels. Like, I had an episode on reassurance and advice. As far as people, we often go to people for reassurance when we're curious. That's the wrong place to go. You gotta get advice when you're curious. You can't get reassurance. But what we do is we get reassurance from people when we're curious. Feel me? When I was young and I used to ask about the Bible and want to know these questions, I asked people who I thought knew the Bible. As I'm older now, they never knew it. They're telling me that they did, but they never knew it. So I'm asking questions. They're like, yo, that's a good question. Ask the pastor. I asked the pastor, he still didn't know. So now it's like, now that I find the answer, everybody's like, well, how you know that's the right answer? How you know it's the wrong one? I was curious a long time ago. You couldn't satisfy the desire. Now I have the experience, and now I can't. Like, when I tell people, they be like, yo, you'll be back. I can't go back to the religion. Like, I don't even think about the religion no more. Like, when people do shit and they be like, yo, what's God gonna do? I'm gonna be punished for this. I don't think about certain shit that I do and don't do. I'm well aware. Like, I don't think about being punished by certain shit. Like, if I were to kill a motherfucker right now, I wouldn't feel bad about it. Like, people be looking at me like that's morbid. I say, shoot the motherfucker. I don't care. If I gotten to the point where that's my option, it's a valid option. I don't care. I know me. Shoot the motherfucker. Kill the motherfucker. That's the only option for me. But when that's the only option, that's because I'm not tempted by anything. I'm not trying to refrain from, oh, I can't respond this way because I don't like. That's why I tell people, I don't be believing in your deities. You fear hell. Some of y'all won't do shit in your life. Some people won't do things in their own lives because they feel like they're going to get in trouble. The desire is there. The curiosity is there, but they will not experience it because they think they're going to go to hell or they think they're going to get in trouble. And it's in not experiencing it that is really holding them back the most, that is really keeping them bound, because now they can't absolve it. So now, like I said, with what ifs and oh wells, it turns into a what if. That's just nagging. What if I would have did this? It's motherfuckers that's sitting on what ifs from 10, 15 years ago. Oh wells are like, yo, I've gone through the experience. Like, I was tempted, I solved it, that's it. I knew a woman, she took her man back after he cheated because he ain't gonna cheat again. I know everybody wants a cheater, always a cheater. Not really. Sometimes it's not about getting it out of your system, it's understanding everything that comes with it. Some people are surface level, some people are physical, some people are mental, some people are spiritual, right? The physical motherfucker, they gonna cheat and go do it again. You know why? Because that experience the curiosity that wasn't the level they were looking at. If he went to the experience of, I wanted some intimacy, I wanted this, that, and the third, and he got it, and it fucked up everything. Like, some people weigh that shit out. If I had kids, wife, and all of this shit, like, I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating. Not because it's like, oh, I don't want to cheat because I'm scared because I'll lose my family or this, that, and the third. It's like, nah, bro. Like like, how do you come in just like that and get to take away from what this person helped me build? Fuck you. Fuck you. You can kiss my ass. Now, I had to reach this point. The old me, I could have been tempted like a motherfucker. Like when I was in undergrad being tempted, I was refraining. That wasn't an experience of like, no, no, no. I wanted to bust every last one of them down. And I could have busted every last one of them down. But I made a conscious choice not to. That's different. When you are a point of the experience and you no longer have the cure, you can answer the curiosity. You can't be tempted. I don't longer see and say, I wonder what it'd be like if I was her with her instead of this one. Or if this one instead of this one, what my life be? I don't think about shit because I realize my life is gonna be whatever I make it. It ain't got shit to do with whatever woman I'm involved with. It has everything to do with the choices that I made. You feel me? So temptation doesn't get to me in that way anymore because now I can answer every question of curiosity that I have through understanding. And if I can't, then I go experience it. And I'm like, oh, wait, this is too much. Entrepreneurship, that was an experience. That's what a lot of people don't. People be tempted to be entrepreneurs because they're like, oh, well, as an entrepreneur, I can work for myself. No, you work for everybody now. You work for everybody now. And as an entrepreneur, I had to learn that when I was curious about some shit, I couldn't wait to solve the problem. Like seriously, like when you are just you have the desires of shit, but you don't like that curiosity. The longer it festers, the more you had, the more clutter you had to deal with. You dig what I'm saying? The more you have to weigh it out, the more you have to fuck up the whole reality more. You feel me? Because now you're looking at a bigger situation. You're looking at a bigger picture. You're looking at a picture that now covers a bigger field. The longer you let it sit. I don't let shit sit. The moment I get curious about it, I go look it up. I go find it now and it's like, Now, I had those moments where I be studying and learning some shit for 3, 4 hours just down a rabbit hole. That's cool. But then there's other times, 5, 10 minutes. Oh, this is not for me. Fuck that. Fuck that. Like, because once that experience happens, the curiosity is gone. And as humans, we have a natural, and this is, I'm gonna wrap it up for this. As humans, we have a natural proclivity to learn. We have a natural curiosity of life. So, which means temptation is going to follow us everywhere we go. But temptation is not bad. Temptation is the initiator that determines whether you're going to have faith or fear in something. Now, if you read So Frail 3 and you go through the tree of life and everything, you have faith is what initiates that. Fear is what makes you stay away from it. But the temptation is the initiator for that. Because the curiosity is, should I have faith in this or should I fear it? Scary motherfuckers, they gonna fear it. They don't even want the understanding of it. So it's like, yo, fuck the experience. I'll just ride on the temptation to keep holding it back there. Then you got the motherfuckers that act on the temptation, have the faith, and they got to go through and solve the problem. But everybody's not willing to do that. So it's on us as people to develop our mental space and our spiritual space to where we can avoid curiosity. That's willpower. But we have been told that will does not belong to us. You feel me? And we believe it. We have been told that nothing we do is us. The good shit in our lives, that's not us. The bad shit in our lives, that's not us. But we're tempted to do it all. But then when you think about, okay, this is a test from a deity to see if I'm doing this. This is a test. Like the moment you realize it's not a test, it's your temptation and your curiosity, and you're not solving the problem or you're not spending enough time with what it is that you're dealing with to learn it the right way, that's when shit gonna fuck with you. When we learn what a deity is, a good deity or a bad deity, we understand what temptation is. Temptation is just rooted. Temptation is so powerful because our minds work. If you're not curious about anything, you won't be tempted by anything. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that is a good thing, right? If you're not curious about life, you won't be tempted by anything. But when you understand curiosity and the desire and you understand how to gain the experience, that means you can't be tempted by anything. Won't and can are two different things, right? But if you won't be tempted, then that means you won't grow as a person either. And I'm only mentioning this because, like I said, I have a lot of religious people in my space who will say things like, I want this to happen. Well, make it happen. I can't. You feel me? The curiosity's there, but the desire to push through isn't there. You feel me? Or they'll say shit like, "Yo, this bad part is happening in my life because of this." I could justify every good thing and bad thing that happens in my life. Nothing just like there. I don't. I've just reached a point like nothing just happens in my life anymore. It's all created in some way, shape, or form. Either created by something I did or something that I didn't do. That's it. Now it's on me to figure out what fucked up, where it fucked up, and how it fucked up to figure out how to fix it. But then when I go through life and I look at this problem and say, this happened not because of me. I can't fix it. I can't fix what I broke. Think about that. And like I said, when temptation is tied to a deity, and that deity is somebody that you can't fight, you can't fight temptation. But if you understand that temptation, like I said, is when curiosity meets the desire for something that you do not have or something that you have not experienced, it makes it easier to overcome temptation. Because either what, you just go through the experience yourself to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm not in med school no more. I'm not a doctor. I'm not none of that shit. A lot of people think, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I can't. I've experienced it. I'm not tempted. I can't be tempted into going. Like people are like, yo, you should go back. I can't be tempted into going back because I didn't fail out of it. Well, the first semester I did fail because I played around. But the second semester I didn't fail out of it. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother was murdered and it was certain things, but then I had got the experience and I seen the shit that I was supposed to see. It's like, this ain't for me or my people. It's a death sentence. And I'm a co-conspirator if I stay in it. But that was me. I can't be tempted into shit no more. You feel me? There's not many things that can tempt me. With practicing celibacy and understanding sexual energy and things like that, like women, like I realize what power you have when nobody can hold anything over you. And I realize even more power that you have when people don't know that you cannot be caught up by these things. You feel me? They think they'll be the one. Like being celibate gets me so much pussy. But women be like, oh, you're really not fucking me either. I don't know you. I can't be tempted. The only thing that I can go through with this is this opportunity works. Time is only going to tell me if this opportunity works. But if you're trying to be on your best behavior to tempt and seduce me, it's not going to work. Pussy cool. I've had enough of it. Like you can send me the thirst traps and all of that shit, but then what? What do you do when that gets old? What do you do when I have that experience? You can't tempt me with something. It's like it's almost like on a dude birthday or Christmas or holiday. And I'm saying dude because it's women just I'm gonna give you some pussy. You gonna give me the same pussy I get all the time for my birthday? At least give me some different pussy. You feel me? Like I get it. You're gonna dress up. You're gonna wear a different suit or whatever the case may be. You're gonna give me some head. You might use a grapefruit. It's- Once I experience it, there's no temptation there no more. And if our relationship is predicated on you tempting me, it ain't gonna work. That's why they don't make it past 3 years anymore. Because you don't tempt me. But this is also why the transition thing is happening. You got to wear the sexy lingerie. You got to wear all of these different things because you got to keep temptation alive rather than absolving yourself of temptation. You feel me? I'm going to go ahead and end it there because that's pretty much it. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our kids, we have to start paying attention to what tempts them and stop shutting them down and get them to the experiencing point and teach them early how to experience so that way they don't have to succumb to shit and don't feel like, oh, I'm deprived. I'm like most kids will refuse to be as great as they can be simply because they need permission to do so. And the permission to do so comes at the expense of what they're tempted to do. That child could very well be on the brink of whatever, but because of this experience that they have to have, that they're tempted to do, somebody told them not to do it. Or they were told, no, I'm gonna beat your ass if you do this, or blah, blah, blah. It's like like when I was young and as a kid, like when I got my whoopings and shit, I always waited out. Is what I'm about to do like enough for like I remember one time I got put on 30 days of punishment. I was like 15 because one of my big homies and shit, he took us to the parade Shit was around Christmas. Took us to the parade and said, if y'all ain't buy the car, I'm leaving you. He said, if y'all ain't buy the car at this time, I'm leaving you. So we walking through the parade, macking, trying to get phone numbers and shit, doing shit 15-year-olds do. We go back to where the car is parked and the car is gone. They say, I'm saying, oh, this nigga really left us. So we walked to the shorty house that I knew. You feel what I'm saying? To try to use the phone, because that's the only, like, it was a decent height. We walked all the way up that motherfucking shit. So everybody, like, my mama calling my phone and shit, like, where you at? I'm like, yo, I'm at this shorty house, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you left, blah, blah, blah. And she put me on 30 days because I left this. I'm like, nigga, you told us you was going to leave. He said, would I really leave y'all? The car was gone. Experience was there. Like, there's no shock. I'm not going to wait here and say, oh, this nigga said we ain't here at this time. He was left. The car was gone. We waited there for about 10 minutes. Never came back. You left us. We had to take it for what it really was. You feel what I'm saying? But as kids, even younger than that, the curiosity is always going to be there. Right. And I use that because when that curiosity is there and you have to solve it, you're going to find it. And when nobody's giving you the answers, the rebellion and shit, it comes from that. Like, so the little shit that I did when I got put on punishment, when I waited out, I went to Shorty house and say, you know what? I used the phone, but it was like, I'm already in trouble. Fuck it. Like, why would I even try to act like I'm not doing nothing wrong anymore? Because kids operate from temptation. A lot of times it's not child being rebellious. They acted on temptation. They were human. Now, if we as adults were more honest with our children, is we as adults were more, instead of saying, because I said so, I've been where you've been. No, explain the experience to them so the curiosity dies. When I got to sit down and tell my son when I got to sit down and had to talk to my son about sex and, not just regular physical protection and shit, condom and shit, but actually the process of what could happen, identifying certain women. I did, like, these are things that I'm gonna have to give them these stories. When I have conversations about a daughter about men only wanting certain things, I got to give her the stories. If not, I just planted a seed of curiosity and desire with no experience. They're gonna experience it. It's that's how kids are gonna work. We fuck up as adults and parents because we give them the experience, we give them the desire. We give them the desire by telling them, oh, you're too young for this, you'll know about this when you get over, and the curiosity stays there. They go figure it out. They don't have time to wait. We got to stop doing that to our babies. Stop being afraid of your past. Embrace it. That's why I'm so glad I was able to embrace my past. So now when I tell my kids, it's like, yo, Dad, how you so comfortable talking about this shit? I made peace with it. Can't be used as a weapon. This is one of those reasons, I'm going to say this and I'm going to end it up for real. This is why that Bible verse is so powerful. Isaiah 54:17, no weapon forged against me shall prosper. But even deeper than that, because it's us addressing the God and ourselves. Go to 16 where it says, for I create the destroyer to work havoc in your life and he only do what I allow. You literally create your problems, but your problems can only exceed your thoughts. Your problems can't exceed your thoughts. So the problems that you create in your life can't exceed the solutions that you already know to have. The problems that you create in your life by the actions, whether you do or don't do some shit, the things that manifest, they can only be to the capacity that your mind can get you out of it. Because it's only your mind that can get you into it. For you create the destroyer to work havoc in your life, but it can only do what you allow. No weapon forged against you shall prosper, because you're the forger of the weapons. You feel what I'm saying? So the things in my past that I've gone through, I made peace with. They're my weapon. Like, you can't kill me with my weapon. I made the weapon. I know how to use it better than you. You feel me? So when our kids, if we can instill that within them earlier, and we can make sure that they know to succumb to temptation healthily, so they get to the point and they're not overdoing it, and the curiosity and the desire doesn't sit there so long that the temptation becomes an addiction the moment they experience it. You feel what I'm saying? That's how we got to break that. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. This is long. This is season 1, season 9, episode 1. So hopefully they don't be this long going forward. But I miss y'all, man. We back. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And I'm gonna see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.